Well, I preached about paper gods this morning. And this night we're going to talk about old Esau. Old Esau. What does Esau mean? Hairy.
Every time I think of hairy, I say Esau.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'll call you Esau.
Well, you're a little better than Esau, brother. Matter of opinion, huh?
Yeah.
All right. What's the first word? Third person masculine singular, cal, wow, consecutive, imperfect. All right? That's what it is. Wyomer. All right? And actually it starts out with the N, that little conjunction there, which is what? Wah. All right? Wyomer. And he said and kept on saying, Yaakov. Yaakov means what? Yaakov. To follow the heel. To follow the heel or to trip. Like a Queensland healer, to nip the heels or to follow the heel. All right? El. And Avi, his father. All right? And then we have Anoki. Anoki. Maryland, oh, there you go. Anoki. Esau. Bikorika. Asita. Ka Asher. Debarta. Ele. Hum. Na. Shiva. We are Kila, Mitz, Side, Ba'avur, Tibarakani, Nafa, Nafshika. All right. And he said and kept on saying, Jacob unto his father, I, Esau. We the last message we looked at here, it was stories and deceit. That's what's going on here. We've got two sides trying to deceive the other side. And who's on God's side? Rebekah and Jacob. All right? Esau and Isaac were on their belly side. Their gods were in their bellies. Okay? And so we got quite a controversy here. I've heard a million sermons on this. Well, probably not a million. Probably at least 300 or 400 over 40 years on this. And I didn't agree with most of them. After looking at the original language, it's a little bit different. Unto his father, Anoki, I, Esau. I'm hairy. And what had he done to prepare himself to be hairy? What had Rebekah done? What did Rebekah do? She thought it all the way out. She wrapped his arms and his neck with goat skins. Hairy goat skin. So that when Isaac, he couldn't see, God had blinded him so he wouldn't bless the wrong boy. Because God knew his belly and what his appetite was. He had the taste of venison in his lips, it says, or under his lips. So she had completely prepared him. She had put this smelly goat skin on him so he would smell like Esau. And he's all prepared now, and Isaac is being deceived. Isaac's name really means what? Let's just think about this for a while. What does Isaac's name mean? It means laughter, but it really means a whole lot more than laughter. It means laughter. It means sexual intimacy. It means smiling. All of the things that pleasure. Okay? Pleasure. So his name means pleasure. What did he go after in his life? Pleasure. What did Esau go after? Pleasure. Okay? Pleasure. The man of the moment. Okay? I, Esau, your Bikkorika, your firstborn. Comes from Boker. See that? Boker? What does Boker mean?
Morning.
Oh, it means morning, but what does it literally mean?
Like,
To break. To break. In other words, Esau is the one that broke the womb first. That's literally what it means here. He's the one that broke the womb first. That is the idea. All right? He burst through the womb first. I am the son that broke through the womb first. All right? I have done, look at that one, first person construct, cal perfect. I have done as which you have spoken. Second person masculine, PL perfect. Look at that PL stem. And he spoke with great force. Then he said, hurry, hurry. Now, in the background, we have to see God at work under all of this. We have to see God's hand in all of it. Now, God allowed Rebekah to hear Isaac tell Esau, go and get me some wild game, that which is in that which I love. Go get me the wild game, and I will bless you, and I will circumvent God, because I might die any time, and I want you to have the blessing, not Jacob. Okay. Now, Jacob was the red one of the family. He was a cowboy. He was a sheep herder. He was the whole thing. Jacob was the one that was making the living of the whole family, and Esau was the playboy. Okay? But the playboy was his father's favorite. I am Esau, your firstborn, and I have done what you have spoken. God intervened. He put it on Rebekah's heart to circumvent the plans of Isaac and Esau. Unto me. Now, did he really speak unto him? No, not really. All right. He's not his firstborn, even though the firstborn had sold his firstborn right, so he was the firstborn, so he was only half lying, wasn't he? Because he was the firstborn now. Esau had sold his right to be firstborn, so he is the firstborn. Then he said, rise up, I please. Rise up, please, or I beg. And you sit, and you sit, and you eat. You sit and you eat from venison. And this means wild game. Wild game. Wild game. 844 is where it is in this book. Wild game. Let's see if I can find that really quick. All right. Wild game. It comes from Zod, all right, which means that which is hunted. That which is hunted, okay? That's what you hunt. Now, you don't hunt for a domesticated goat, or you don't hunt for a Holstein cow, do you? To hunt, sadu, all right, and hunting, it means wild game that you hunt. You hunt eagerly, all right. It also means to practice magic arts of necromancy. Okay. Now remember. Now how would magic arts get to do with hunting? How would that get involved in this right here? How would that be involved in this situation, the magic arts? I remember one time, a long time ago, about 35 years ago or something like that, I was a guide up on the Tejon Ranch. And I took a guy hunting up there, Podios Kyriakos, as a matter of fact, my Greek friend. I had taken him hunting in different places all over the country. We were up on the Tejon Ranch, And I told Fody that day that I wanted to kill a deer for myself. We didn't have any deer, so I was going to kill a deer and hang it up in a tree. And I didn't care whether we got a deer for him or not, but I was going to get one deer. I had 2 deer tags, and I wanted something to eat. Well, we were going down Tunis Ridge, and you know, Indians, we communicate with the wilds, okay? Now, this sounds pretty crazy, but it's true, all right? He didn't believe me until I proved it to him several times. I had this red-tailed hawk up there that watched me, and I went up there for years and years. And when I would kill a deer, I would leave that red-tailed hawk something to eat, and he'd go there and eat a liver or something. I'd leave him part of it. And then when I would go up there, he would look from my truck, and he would start circling over where the deer were. All right, telling on them. He wanted something to eat, see? I mean, this is real simple economics to a red-tailed hawk, all right? And he would start circling over up there, and I told Fody, you know, I said, watch that hawk. That hawk's watching me. You watch that hawk. I said, where that hawk is, there's going to be deer. I can guarantee you this. Because I had done this many times. Well, we got up there, and the hawk saw me, and he started flying way up on the Tunis Ridge, way up there. He just kept circling around up there. I said, Fody, there's deer on that mountain. He said, that's a long way off. You can't hit one up there if you found one. I said, I can hit one. About 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards, something like that. And so I got a 40-power scope out, and I was looking up there, and I saw this buck. He was up there for sure. I thought, well, I'm going to kill that buck. Well, let me tell you a little background, too. Here, I'm an Indian. You know, I used to wear a bear claw necklace around my neck a lot. Not for good luck. It was just something I did. I had that bear claw necklace on. And it had a color blue on it with some chevron beads and everything, and this bear claw. So I was down there, and I got my .300 Winchester Magnum out, and I set it for 1,200 yards. Just clicked it up. I had a target scope on it, and I used that. So I sat there, and he said, you can't hit that deer from here, Jim. He said, that's the furthest shot that nobody could shoot a deer that far. I said, watch me, Fody. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, if you kill that deer, I will go get it. I said, if I kill that deer, you're going to have to go get it because somebody's got to stay here and tell you where it is. It's too far away. So, anyway, I got out on the hood of the car, and I was watching the mirage, the wind, which was hardly any wind at all that day. And it was real early in the morning. It was not too far after daylight. So I set that .300 Magnum down there and put some sandbags underneath it and sat there, and that deer didn't even think I could see him because he's too far away. And I pulled that thing off, and that deer just goes wham, hits the ground. Just hits the ground. Boom, just like that. He started doing a dance around me like Fody did. He said, I can't believe this. He said, you did it. I said, it's nothing. I said, I go out and shoot this far all the time. When we got back, we went on down a little bit later on, and here I have this bear claw necklace around my neck. He said, what do you take for that necklace? Oh, I don't want to sell it. He said, can I wear it? It's a good luck charm. This is a talisman's arm, okay? Okay, well, I gave it to him, and we got him a deer. And as we were going home, he says, you're not getting this back. This magic. This is magic. You know, like that. He said, here's $50. You can have $50. You're not getting this necklace back. Now let's think about this again now. Magic arts. Magic arts. When people went hunting, a lot of times they would cleanse themselves. They would do all kinds of things to ensure fishing. You ever hear fishermen going out there and spitting over their shoulder or something like that? They do. People do little things. So with hunting, comes this idea of luck. Because I'm going to tell you something, when you hunt, a lot of times, when you go fishing, sometimes it's luck. You can hurry it along and bless your luck, but knowing how to fish and knowing how to hunt and what to look for, and a red-tailed hawk. You know, I mean, you might have a red-tailed hawk had been dealing with you for 4 or 5 years, you know. Hunting game. Game hunted and taken. All right. Game hunted and taken. So all of this, though, is wild game. This is not domesticated. And wild game is always has a stronger flavor than domesticated game because they're eating all kinds of stuff out there. Rise up and sit down and eat from venison, from the wild game. Now he kind of cheated a little bit, didn't he? He went out there and got a goat and left a lot of fat in it, and maybe his mother slipped a little bit of wild venison fat or lard in with it, because that's where the wild taste comes in. It comes from the lard. In order that she may bless me. Now look at that. In order that she may bless me. Third person feminine singular, PL imperfect. She may bless and keep on blessing me. Your soul. The word nephesh there is feminine. All right. He wanted his father's soul to bless him, and of course the word soul is feminine, so he said that she may bless me. She may intensely bless me and keep on blessing me, and my descendants after me, and my descendants after me, and my descendants after me. Because this blessing would be here until the millennial kingdom. All the way here. If Israel would have accepted their Messiah, like I said before, they would have never been hungry. Remember, He provided food for the hungry. Nobody was sick in His presence. He healed every one of them. He recovered their sight. He raised the dead. All of the sample case of the millennial blessings Israel could have had, but they said, no, we want to be starving, and we want to be sick, and we want to have disease, and we want to die. We don't want you. All right. What's that first word? Wayomer. Yitzchak. El Benah. Mah. Zeh. Miharta. Limpso. Beneh. Wayomer. Ki. Hikra. And here we have the word Dabar. All right, now, brother, who has a Hebrew Bible here? Who has a Hebrew Bible? You've got a Hebrew Bible. Okay. Can you turn to the book of Jeremiah? Jeremiah. Because this is very good. I taught this to the class this morning, but I'm going to share it with you also. All right? The Hebrew Bible. Can I borrow that? You got Jeremiah? Navim Jeremiah. All right. Jeremiah 1. Jeremiah, the first chapter. Now, I found it. All right. Davri, the words of Jeremiah. The words of Jeremiah, son of Hilkiah, man. All right. The second word, the second verse, Asher, Haya, Daber, Jehovah. Do you see? I'm going to show this to the. This mine I would be writing in the book. Right here on camera. All right. It's the words of Jehovah. The words of Jehovah. Right there. I was going to bring my Hebrew Bible and forgot it. Word Jehovah. All right. It says Dabar Jehovah. Anyone? Randall, do you have your Hebrew Bible here with you? Oh, it's on your iPad. Okay, you've got your Hebrew Bible open on your iPad. All right. See the word there, Dabar? See that word, Dabar? And then it says Jehovah. This is what it looks like. Okay. Bar Jehovah. See this little word, this little hyphen looking thing right there? It's right there in the text. You see that in the text also? This means is like John 1:1. Okay. Word equals Jehovah. Jehovah equals His Word. The name of Jehovah, the person of Jehovah equals His Word. The Word of God is equal to Jehovah. And of course, Jehovah is, in the New Testament, whole logos, the Word. Okay? So here we have this. The Word, Jehovah. And he said, Isaac unto his son, how then have you hurried? All right? First of all, Jehovah had interceded and let Rebekah hear what he was going to do. And he hurried to find, call infinitive, to find my son, and he said, because cause me to meet Jehovah, your God. See that word Jehovah there? And we write Devar up there. The word and Jehovah are equal. Elohika, your God, Lephane, to the face of me. All right? In other words, what happened here? In the Amplified Bible, who has the Amplified Bible? Anyone have that out here with you today? Anyone? Got the Amplified Bible? Oh, you have, brother? Okay, Brother Abe, could you come up here and read that for me? See, because the camera, the new microphone won't pick it up, okay? You have the Amplified, okay? Read not Jeremiah, but Genesis 27, 19 and 20, I believe it is. 19, 20? No, yeah, 19 and 20.
Genesis 19, 20?
Yeah, Genesis 27, 19 and 20.
27.
Laura had you on camera before the hour. I saw you out there all over the world.
19 and 20.
Yeah. 27, 19 and 20.
Yeah, Genesis 27, 19 to 20. And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done what you told me to do. Now sit up and eat of my game, so that you may proceed to bless me. And Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found the game so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord your God caused it to come to me.
All right, the Lord your God caused it to come to my face. It just jumped up in front of me. Isn't that nice? It just jumped up in front of me. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Jehovah did intercede here. Now let's go on. And while Isaac was out there playing around in the sticks, God made sure those animals were running away from him, so he didn't get back too soon. Okay? God is working on both ends of the program here. And he said, third person, masculine, singular, Cal, consecutive, important. Isaac kept on saying unto his son, he just repeated this over and over again, how did you do this so quick? What happened here? This is not normal. He said, well, Jehovah, your God, just put the game right in front of me. 27:21 now. Wayomer, Yitzchak, El, Yaakov, Kesha, Nah, Mushka, B'nai, Ha'ata, Ze, B'nai, Esau, Im, Lo. All right. And he kept on saying Isaac. Look at that word, third person, masculine, singular, cal, wow, consecutive, imperfect. And he kept on saying Isaac unto Jacob, come near. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe the story. He doesn't believe it. He said, come nearer, please, or I beg you, that I may feel you, that I may feel you. First person construct singular, cohortative meaning. Suffix is second person masculine singular. That's all in that little verb right there. That I may feel you, my son. Ha'ata. The whether are there for real. All right. Then. Or this. This is my son. I want to know whether this is really my son. Esau. Or adverb of negation, not. What's the adverb of negation in Greek? Uk. Particle of negation is may. Adverb of negation is uk. So write that uk down there. That will make it. If you write uk down there, like this, it will implant that in your head. All right? That's an adverb of negation in Greek, and it's on page 294 if you want to write that down. Adverb of negation. And here we have an adverb of negation in Hebrew, lo. 24, 27, 21. 27, 22 now. Wayigash, Wa'akov, El Yichak, Avi, Mushihu, Wayomer, Ha, Gol, Ha, Yaakov, We Hayadaim, Yedei, Esau. Now he hears the voice of Jacob, but he feels the hands of Esau. And he came near. He kept on coming near, and he kept on sniffing Jacob unto Esau, his father, and he handled him. Third person cow, while consecutive. He just kept going all over his hands. Because he knew what Esau looked like when he was young, while he still had sight, and he knew what he looked like. And he knew what he felt like. And he kept on handling him, and he kept on saying to himself, the voice, Hak, Kol, Go. The voice, Jacob. And the hands and arms. What's the word hand or arm in Greek? Huh? All right. What's the one for hand or arm in Greek? It's care. All right, care. And then Yod, Yedei, we have hand of Esau. All right. 27 and verse 23. Anyone else have the Amplified Bible out here? Harry, do you have an Amplified Bible with you tonight? You didn't bring it tonight. Do you, Randall?
Yeah, but
You're not going to get him in front of the camera. Cindy, do you have an Amplified Bible with you? How about you, Chris? No? All right. You're a brave soul, aren't you? All right. Well, in just a minute. Let's read this next one here. I'm just trying to prepare. All right. We had Brother Abe. He was a brave soul tonight. Sharon, you don't have an Amplified Bible with you? All right. Wilo. Hik Kirao. Ki Hayu. Yadu. Kedei. Esau. Aki. Seruth. Why ba Rikihu. All right. And not he recognized. He had recognized. Look at this word. Third person masculine, hifel, perfect. Suffix, third person masculine, singular. Not he recognized him, because what would be the equivalent of that in Greek? Simple, page 208. Just remember that. Kai. All right? Because his hands had become. All right, now we're putting hands in parentheses there because it's really not there, but it's understood what you call a practical substantive. Because his hands had become hands, like hands, Kedai, Esau, his brother. Seroth. That word ser there, that means goat. Goat-like. A seer. A goat. Goat-like. And he had intensely blessed him and kept on blessing him. And I wrote down here, if God had not blinded Isaac, he would have blessed intentionally the wrong son, which was not worthy of the responsibility of his place of honor and calling. Jacob would be. Jacob had a hard life. Everything that Jacob did seemed like always turned wrong. He had bad luck, didn't he? He did. Always. God blessed him tremendously, but he had bad luck. In spite of everything. Just look at his life. He was born second, first of all, when he should have been born first. But we do have the law of the rejection of what? The rejection of the firstborn. Well, his brother didn't give a hoot about anything. He all he cared about was pleasure and space and time. Right now, I want to feel good right now, and I want to be happy right now. I want to eat right now, and I don't care anything about the future, and I really don't care anything about the God of my father. Not really. And Jacob sees him and feeds him when he's hungry and said, trade me your birthright, because he knew he didn't care anything about his birthright. And then his daddy's going to give the birthright to the wrong man, so he has to go in there and literally put his life at risk to get the blessing. Because he wanted the blessing. Because he was a man of God. Okay? He was the man that was worthy of the calling. Now, the next thing he does, he has to leave out of there, and he has to leave his mother. And who in the world did they have? They had to put the servants to work now because Esau wasn't going to do it. Esau was still playing around. So the servants that Jacob had trained, he left behind when he went to Haran. All right? And he goes over to Haran, and he meets the right woman. He falls in love with Rachel, the little lamb. And he just runs right into his uncle, Laban, Whitey. That's what his name meant, Whitey. And Laban is a trickster for sure. He is a trickster. He's a used car salesman, I'm telling you. Right out of L.A. proper. Right down there. And he makes a deal with him. For 7 years he works for Rachel. And then on his wedding night, Laban gets him drunk, slips the wrong woman into his tent. He consummates the marriage and wakes up looking at Leah. And he's upset. Now, Leah's a pretty woman, really. She had beautiful eyes, probably blue eyes. And she just captivated people with her eyes. But he was not in love with her. He didn't want to marry Leah. Okay? And then old Whitey, Laban, he said, well, the law of Hammurabi, the law of the land around here, we can't let our younger daughter get married before, so go ahead. I'll tell you what to do, Jacob. You work 7 more years, and I'll give you her on credit. I'll give you Rachel on credit. So he has to spend the marriage week with Leah. Well, she gets pregnant, right off, and then he has the woman that he loves, and she doesn't get pregnant. And they start bickering and fighting, and here's Leah's just having kids right and left, and the one he loves isn't. He didn't want to marry Leah. So then Rachel says, well, take my handmaiden and let her become your wife. And he did, and he had kids. Well, he ends up having 11 kids. And then Laban says, well, you're doing all this for nothing. What wages? He said, I'll just take out the one of 100 or the one of 1,000. If you go out here in the sheep, you know, when they put the sheep out on the farms, you look out there, and there's one black sheep and 100 or 1,000. There aren't very many black sheep. There aren't very many spotted sheep. And not only this, but he had cattle. It doesn't really say that, but if you look in the Hebrew Scriptures, you'll find out that he got goats, he got sheep, and he got cattle. 3 of them. 3 kinds. The goats and the sheep and the cattle. And the cattle were the bokers. That's the ones that break the ground, okay? The big ones. And every one of them were spotted, and he only got the spotted ones, which are rare, normally. And so, you know, he took the rods and put it by the watering troughs where they'd come in and they would breed, and the spotted ones would produce, and the straight runs wouldn't. So then he had to take off. He ran off with these wives and everything else, and then he starts into the promised land. He goes over there, and his wife dies, the one he loves dies, having his son, Benjamin. And then he, of course, he's got to, before that, he has to meet Esau. Well, God does change Esau's heart, but here Esau comes with hundreds of men, and he thinks he's going to kill him, but God changes Esau's heart also. So here we have Jacob plowing hard ground all the time. All right, all the time. And that's the background here. Now here he is. This is where it all begins, right here. Cindy, are you ready to come up here and read for me now? Have you got that little electronic device? All right. Read up to where we are, from where Abe left off.
But Isaac said to Jacob, come close to me, I beg of you, that I may feel you, my son, and know whether you really are my son. So Jacob went to Isaac, and his father felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He could not identify him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's, so he blessed him.
All right. Is that where we are?
Yeah.
All right. So he blessed him. And he kept on blessing him, and how long did this blessing last? Look at it. It's PL stem, and it's imperfect. All right? Third person masculine singular, PL, while consecutive and perfect throughout even the millennium. That's how long he blessed him. This is a powerful blessing, and Isaac was going to give it to the wrong son. All right, 27 verse 24. Wayomer atah ze b'nei Esau, wayomer ani. All right. Let me slow down. Wayomer atah ze b'nei Esau, wayomer ani. All right. I got excited. And he kept on saying, you then, my son, Esau. And he said, I am Anoki, or Ani, I am Esau. Wayomer Hagisha Li Wayo Kila Mitzed B'nai Li Ma'an Tevarika Nafishi Wayagash Lo Wayakal Wayabe Lo Yagin Wayeshit. All right. And he kept on saying, bring near. Bring near. Third person masculine singular, cow, while consecutive and perfect, and he kept on saying, and see the little conjunction in front. Bring near. Masculine singular, hithel, imperfect, or imperative, that is. To me, li, and let me eat. We are Kila, and let me eat and keep on eating. All right. First person construct, Kal cohortive. From wild game, mitzed. Remember what all this word means? Remember all of what it means. It's something caught in the wild, and there's luck involved, and I guarantee you that Esau was not having any luck. Because God was going to make sure they could outrun him, and he wouldn't see any until his other son, the promised son, here, got the blessing. My son, Benay. Lima'an. To that purpose. Look at that one. To that purpose. That le there on page 515, if you look in Brown, Driver, and Briggs, that's what you have the preposition there. Le ma'an, for that purpose, she may bless you. Third person feminine singular, PL imperfect. She may bless you and keep on blessing you, my soul. And he kept on bringing near to him. Now, this man really loves his food. And he's going to eat a lot and eat a lot and eat a lot until he just about pops. And he kept on eating. Third person masculine singular, Kal, while consecutive and perfect. And he kept on eating. And he kept on bringing to him oinos. Oinos. That's what the Greek word is, oinos. 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 See, I'm trying to get you to learn both of these. Oinos is a product I should have used that other one. Oinos is a product of Ganamatos Taisan blue, the fruit of the vine. Oinos is fermented wine. It has alcohol in it. Ganamatos Taisan blue is grape juice. Now, this happens to be in the New Testament when it talks about the fruit of the cup, the fruit of the vine, which is the Lord gives to his disciples. We know that it was probably wine because that's what they had on the Passover table. Okay, but he doesn't call it wine. He calls it Ganamatos Taisan blue, the fruit of the vine. Why does it call it the fruit of the vine in the New Testament? Jesus said, I am the what? The vine. I am the root of the vine. And all things come from me. All produce, all everything comes from me. You can't do anything without me. He said, I am the root branch, or the netzer. I am the root. He was a root out of dry ground, wasn't he? And remember, when we see the word netzer, you see a tree or a grapevine. This is what it looks like above the ground, and this is what it looks like below the ground. It means root and branch also. Netzer. All right? So, it is, when you look at the word, I wanted to bring that out to you when it talks about the wine here, yayin. All right? Oinos is the Greek word. It's talking about fermented wine, and he kept on giving him fermented wine, and he kept on drinking. Third person masculine singular, Kal, while consecutive. And he kept on drinking. He ate and he drank and he ate and he drank and he ate and he drank and he was happy. Isaac thought he got to bless the son he wanted. He thought he's going to circumvent Jehovah. And he was doing it in the name of God. I want you to understand this. Doing it in the name of God. Wa'omer ilal yachak avi yeshad na yusheka li b'nei. All right, let's go back over it again now. Wa'omer ilal yichik avi yeshad na yusheka li b'nei. And he said and kept on saying unto him, Isaac. Remember the word Isaac, what it means. All right. By the way, Isaac, you can look that up on page 850 in Brown, Driver, and Briggs, but it is on page 428 in Kohler and Baumgartner. His father. What does the word father mean? father. What does it mean? He comes from two Hebrew words in the Hebrew alphabet. The first two words, letters that is, Aleph and Beth. And what does it mean? The head, the word Rosh is right here. We got head of house. Head of house. All right? That's father, head of house. Unto his father. All right? He said unto his father, you come near, I beg, and kiss me, my son. Now he wants to get real close to him. He wants to smell of him. To make sure this is the right one. He wants to make sure that this is Esau. So he gets close to him and he said, kiss him. And of course they kissed him. Basically they kissed each other on the mouth. But they would hug each other. And he would smell him. All right? And kiss me, my son. 27:27 now. 27:27. Why yigash? Yichik. Well, why yichik, that is. I almost forgot the why. Why yichik? Lo. Why yardah. It's the word dah. See that word dah? It's got a little click in your throat there. Why yardah. All right. Et. Riach. I'll turn this old antique machine over here. Got things running so well, I don't know. I may quit using that old fellow, but about the time I quit using it, everything else will fail but it. Yes, Brother Abe. Oh, okay. Begadal. Why? Va. Ra. Kihu. Wayomer. Riah. Riach. Mene. Kid Riach. Sedeh. Asher. Bedrako. And then we have the word Davar, which is the word for Jehovah. And he kept on coming near, and he kept on kissing him. And he kept on smelling. He kept on smelling. Et, see that word et, sign of the direct object? Kept on smelling, or kept on smelling, smell his garments. Bagadal. His garment, his clothes, his wrap, his wrappings. Okay? And he kept on blessing him intensely. He kept on blessing him intensely. And he kept on saying, see, smell my son. He didn't care anything about Jacob, did he? Just think about it. He didn't care anything about Jacob, did he? Did he mention Jacob one time? Except that, he sound like Jacob, but that's my son. Smell my son. Like smell, Kiriach Sedeh, the field, the wild prairie, Sedeh. Remember what Sedeh means? What does it mean? What does Sedeh mean? It is similar to shad. All right, which means milk, it's breast milk. It means the prairie that is moisture, the prairie that has dew on it, that will grow wild feed. You're not going to go out in the Eramu, out in the absolute desolate country and find any animals because there's nothing else for them to eat. You got to go where the food is. I remember Marilyn. Remember when I used to take you out in the ocean? Yeah. 2 years. I took her out in the boat. 2 years. And we'd get in the boat in the bay. And she said, let's fish. I said, the fish are out there. They're not here. Listen, this is the ocean. You fish here. We're not going out there. And we'd drop our line down, these little bitty minnows would be nipping on it and nipping and nipping, and then we'd sit there for a while. I said, let's go out there. Nope, I'm not going out there. Finally, one day I kicked it out, and we were going out there, and Marilyn said, what? We're going to Hawaii. Got out there going down the deal. Well, we got out there and dropped the lines in where the fish live. And she caught a fish. And then she forgot all about rocking and rolling out there, didn't she? Yeah. Then she would go out there where the fish live, because that's where they live. Out there. That's where their cities are. They're not up there around the docks and stuff like that. They're out there in their towns. Well, out here in the wilds, you have to go someplace where there's food and water. And if you go out there in a dry area, you're not going to get much. You have to go someplace where there's food and water. When I would guide people hunting, I would look for the water sources and look for the feed. Now, up in the mountains up here in the Greenhorns and up on the Tohon Ranch and everything, there's a lot of wild oats out there. And boy, those wild oats, they're good to eat. But also, when the acorns fall, they love to eat the acorns. But they always have to have water. Hidor. Mayim. Remember that. They've got to have water. So every place that they're going to go, they're only going to eat so long, and they're going to go to the water troughs. They're going to go to the water springs. So that's the way you hunt. All right. Now his garment smelled like the wild prairie, like a goat. And then he had blessed him. He had intensely blessed him, Jehovah. All right. Jehovah had blessed the prairies and made the grass grow. And they had to follow the grass, didn't they? Remember the movie that I showed you, how they traveled and followed the grass? Animals have to follow the grass. 27 and verse 28. 27 and verse 28. Wayaten Lika Ha-Elohim Met-Tal Ha-Shamayim Yumishmane Ha-Aretz Wiro Dagan We Te Rosh. And he may give to you the God, all right, from the dew, all right, from the dew, Mital, God will give you from the dew of the heavens, and from the fatness, look at that, you mishmane, from the fatness, and from the fatness. Look at that word and there, that's the U on the front of it. That's a wow, but it's like it's pronounced like a U. See that dot in the middle of it? And that makes it a U instead of a wa. And then me, it means from, that's a preposition. From the yumish, from the fatness, fatness. What is the word fatness? What does the word hamashiach mean? Hamashiach. 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 How about kreo? Christos in Greek. Christos and kreo. What's kreo mean? That means I anoint. That's what it means, I anoint. And that's what the word here is. This word comes from the word Hashemayim, or not Hashemayim, but Hamashiach. Hamashiach comes from this word, from the fatness or from the anointing of the earth. Isn't it weird how you can see a cow out there eating green grass and it gives white milk? And how you see olive trees growing, and from that olive fruit you can squish it real hard and out comes oil. That's oil. That's real good oil. And abundance of wheat and barley and grains, Dagon, and new wine. And new wine. Genesis 27:39, Genesis or Deuteronomy 33:13 and 28, Proverbs 3 and 20, and Zechariah 8 and 12, and Numbers 18 and verse 12 are all cross-reference to this. All right. Now let's look at Deuteronomy 33, 13, and 28. Deuteronomy 33. This is a real blessing here now. Deuteronomy. What does Deuteronomy mean? Genesis. What? Second law. Deuteros nomos. Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is a Greek word, not a Hebrew word. 33. 33 and 13. Now here we're talking about the blessing of Moses. And of Joseph he said, Blessed be the Lord. Blessed of the Lord be his hand, with the choice of things of heaven, with the dew, and from the deep lying beneath, and with the choice yield of the sun, and with the choice produce of the months, and with the best things of the ancient mountains, and with the choice things of the everlasting hills, and with the choice things of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwelt in the bush. Who was that? Who dwelt in the bush? Who was that? Jehovah. Jehovah dwelt in the bush. Remember, the bush kept on burning. How many of you know what a tumbleweed is? Have you ever burned a tumbleweed? Had anybody ever burned a tumbleweed? Huh? Marilyn, you burned a tumbleweed? Tell me about burning tumbleweeds. Tell me, when you pile up tumbleweeds and you set the tumbleweeds on fire, what happens? They go woof, just like gasoline on them, and they just burn up, and pretty soon they're gone. Harry, you've been out there. We burned tumbleweeds together. They don't last very long, do they? But this bush kept on burning and kept on burning. That was a miracle. Not that the bush was on fire, because sometimes storms catch on fire. I mean, storms start, don't they? Sometimes what you call self-ignition. Sometimes lightning. Sometimes static electricity. Wind can start a stop fire. Or even a rock rolling down the hill can cause a spark that will cause a fire. So it wasn't the bush being on fire that Moses was so amazed about. It was that it kept on burning. And of him that dwelled in the bush, let it come to the head of Joseph, and to the crown of the head of the one distinguished among his brethren. As the firstborn of his ox, majesty is he, and his horns are the horns of the wild ox. And with him he shall push the peoples, and at once the ends of the earth. And those are the tens of thousands of Ephraim, and those are the thousands of Manasseh. And Zebulun, he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going forth, and Issachar in your tents. See, this is a blessing. Remember in the 50th and the 49th chapter of Genesis, the blessing of Jacob upon his sons? What they would do was the whole history of Israel. They shall call peoples to the mountains, and they shall call righteous sacrifices, and they shall draw out the abundance of the seas and the hidden treasures of the sand. Well, God is going to bless all of these. And of Gad, he said, Blessed is the one who larges Gad. All of these are Jacob's sons. This blessing right here came from the man right now. Isaac laid this blessing upon Jacob. And now all of his sons are going to be blessed, and this is it. Of Gad, he blessed is the one who larges Gad, who lies down like as a lion, and tears the arm, and also the crown of the head, and then he provided the first part of himself, for there the ruler's portion was reserved. And he came with the leaders of the people, and executed the justice of the Lord, and his ordinance was Israel. And of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's whelp that leaps forth from Bashan. And of Naphtali, he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor, and the full of the blessing of the Lord, take possession of the sea in the south. And of Asher, he said, More blessed than the sons of Asher. May he be favored by his brothers, and may dip his foot in oil. And your locks shall be iron and bronze. And according to your days, so shall your leisurely walk be. There is none like the God of Jeshurun, who rides the heavens to your help. Through the skies in his majesty, and the eternal God is a dwelling place. And underneath his everlasting arms, and he drove out the enemy from before you, and said, Destroy, and Israel dwells in security. And the fountain of Jacob secluded, in a land of grain and new wine, His heavens also drop down dew. Blessed are you, O Israel. And that's who we're talking about. Israel is being blessed. Blessed right here now. Blessed are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord, who is a shield of your help and the sword of your majesty. So your enemies shall cringe before you, and you shall tread upon their high places. That's the blessing. That's the blessing. Yes?
Do they distinguish themselves amongst tribes today?
Yes. They do. They usually know which tribe they're from. Their names give way to that in many ways. But they look at themselves as the people of God. They look at themselves as blessed above all other people because of the Abrahamic blessing, the Abrahamic covenant, and the covenant now right here is that covenant. Jacob got the blessing. And that blessing is basically eternal. All right? They would be blessed with money. Wherever they went, no matter what happened in the world, Israel has been blessed with money. No matter what, they've been blessed with money. When they went in Europe, what got them in trouble in Germany? What got the Jews in trouble in Germany? They had all the money. That's right, they had all the money, and they were really mad. What got the Jews in trouble with Franklin Roosevelt? On Wall Street. They had all the money and all the power. Huh? Yeah. What did those people on 9/11 hit? The Twin Towers. Because of jealousy. Because God had blessed them. If you talk to an Arab today, by the way, there's the Quran. I had brought that this morning when we talked about paper gods. If you talk to an Arab today, I've talked to quite a few of them, Egyptian Arabs, all different kinds, Yemen, and all over the place, Yemenis, and they'll say one thing: I don't want to have anything to do with the God of Jacob. A God that would pick one man out and one people out over everybody else that are trying real hard. I don't want to have anything to do with God like that. Because He chose, didn't He? Did He choose? Yes, He chose. Why did He make the choice? Israel was going to bring forth the Messiah. And when Israel brought forth the Messiah, what did they do to the Messiah? Murdered Him. And Israel stands in rebellion with God today. But this blessing that we have talked about tonight is on their heads still because of Jacob and because of Abraham, in spite of who they are. All right, let's read these verses up to verse number 29 from the Amplified Bible. Harry, you don't have one? You don't have one? Cindy's the only one that's got one. So guess who gets elected, Cindy? That's what you have. Harry. Do you want Harry to read from that for you? Can you do that? Harry, can you read from that? Oh, he's got a big one, Harry. Harry, come on up here, Harry. Come on, we got to get you up here. The right-hand man. Harry, let's get old Esau up here. All right? Because of what this blessing did, right here, this is why the Jews are blessed today, in spite of what they have done. But God will have to beat them up real hard during this period of time to get them over here. He's got just about annihilate 2 out of 3. Every 3 of them are going to be killed before He can bless them. All right.
The Jews migrated out of Israel to, throughout the earth. They still have the blessing no matter where they live.
Yes.
And then, what about the Jews who they live in the U.S.? Do they still know what tribe they came from?
I think most of them do. I don't know if I've ever talked to any that didn't. Really. They know what tribe they're from. Cohen. The name Cohen. Have you heard of Cohen? What tribe are they from? What's crowing mean?
Priest.
Priest. It means priest. How about Levi? Well, that's Levi. How about Benjamin? If anybody's last name is Benjamin. All right. You see all this, all the different ones. All right, Harry, you want to read up?
Oh, okay. Where am I reading from?
Which one?
24 to 28.
24 to 28.
All right.
All right. Right up there, Harry.
But he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He answered, "I am." Then Isaac said, Bring it to me, and I will eat of my son's game, that I may bless you." He brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said, "Come near and kiss me, my son." So he came near and kissed him. And Isaac smelt his clothing and blessed him and said, "The sin of my son is as the odor of a field which the Lord has blessed. And may God give you of the dew of the heavens and of the fatness of the earth an abundance of grain and new wine. Let peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's son bow down to you. Let everyone be cursed who curses you, and favored with blessings who blesses you."
All right, we went a little bit further, but do you have the idea?
Got excited when he was up
What?
there. He got excited when he was up there.
Yeah, he got excited. He's a good reader. All right. Well, there we are. Go out and do something eternal. Do you have any other questions? Or I'll turn you loose and shut the machinies off.
Yeah, I do.
What?
I do. Now, if Jacob had not deceived his father, would he somehow have gotten the blessing anyway?
This was what God planned. This is what God planned. No, his father would not have blessed him. Unless God had intervened, his father would not have blessed him. The reason why he was blinded is so that he couldn't see which son he was blessing. And he let Rebekah hear what he was going to do, so she overheard his plans, and the plans were not good. These were plans of deceit, because they knew exactly who would do what. They knew who would do what. Okay?
I don't remember, at what time did God decide that Jacob should have the blessing instead of Esau?
Before he was ever born. Because he told Rebekah, what did he tell him? When she had indigestion problems, when the children were wrestling in her womb, she cried out to Job and said, "What's going on?" And she said, "You have two nations in you, and the younger shall..." What? The elder shall serve the younger. And God made that decision. And I'm telling you that when she went home, she told Daddy that. I can guarantee you she told Isaac that. And Isaac just sat back, and then when that boy was born, this was Daddy's boy. And he shouldn't have been Daddy's boy. He was a playboy. He was the boy. He was the boy of the moment. He lived for the day only. Not tomorrow. He lived for today, right now. And Jacob was the sound one. He was a worker. He was the one that was interested in the real blessing of God. And he took advantage. When Esau came in hungry, he took advantage of it, because he knew that he would throw that birthright away. And God said, "I hated Esau, and I loved Jacob." God said that. I hated Esau, and I loved Jacob. All right. Did that... Anything else?
It kind of comes like with something that at my church today, that God uses even what we do wrong to come out with something good, and when we do something good, the things that I wish they hadn't deceived Isaac.
You wish Isaac would have gone ahead and done the right thing.
Yeah. Or,
Isaac could have done the right thing, but he wasn't going to.
Or maybe he became more senile and did it by accident. I don't know.
He loved his son Esau. He loved the wrong son. The wild boy, the little heathen, that married the heathens, you know, that was Esau. Jacob did what he do. He went and married the right woman. He followed his dad's and his mother's prescription for a holy life. And he did it. And after now you just said, we're going to get to this point, but Isaac charges Jacob not to marry one of the Canaanites. And he does what his father says. He takes off and leaves his country and goes up there to Haran. And what does Esau immediately do? He goes out and marries two of them. Two of the heathens. And it said they stunk in their mother and father's nostrils. But guess what? Isaac still loved old Esau. He still loved him. Didn't matter whatever happened. He just was who he was, because he had the same type of appetite. Here, the man is not the spiritual leader of the family, even though he will bless the blessing on. Who was the spiritual leader of that family? Rebekah. All right, Rebekah was. Rebekah was the spiritual leader of the family. All right, let's have a prayer, and I'm going to go out and sick you on the world. Go out and do something eternal. Sister Sharon, would you mind leading us in prayer, please?